Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to bringing the Division video. What I've guessed today is my long requested Predator's Mark build for the Dark Zone, or just PvP in general. Now, this, in my opinion, hands down is a really good damage build. If you want more survivability, I would go ahead and use something like Nomad. If you guys want to see a build on that, I have one and it will be in the description below. But if you want to do a lot of damage, if you're playing with a team, if you're playing with a healer, anything like that, this build absolutely melts. Now, as you guys know, the bleeding is insane, and that's pretty much where your damage is coming from. And in order to do that, you have to make the build a little bit different and spec into one thing. So the first thing is, I'm using a overdose and an immune station. In my mind, having the immune station is really good, and it's really important as of right now. In patch 1.8, your heals are going to be really bad because the skill power and the stamina health ratio is really high, so your skill power has to be really good in order for your heals to be good as well. But what the immune station is, no matter what your skill power is, no matter how much or how little you have, the immune station will always heal you for 33% of your health. That's why in my mind, it's really good. Also, I am rocking with the overdose. Now I do understand it's not a lot of healing, but at least it's something, and if I'm about to die, if my health is really low and, I just use my med kit, whatever, something like the overdose can really save you and, help you live a little bit longer. As for the talents, I went with something a bit different. I'm using actually critical save, shrapnel, precision, and on the move. I didn't go with strike back. Usually I have strike back on every single thing. But for this build, you will have to be using shrapnel, and it's really good, especially if you are playing PvE with this build and, something like Last Stand. It's really good. So as I said, that is my talents and those are my skills I am rocking on this build. Anyways, as for the main build, this is what I have on it. So as you guys can see, obviously it is a 6-piece Predator's Mark, and everything is into stamina. Now, 9,000 stamina with this build is 110%, 120% necessary. If you guys are wanting to make a Pred Mark build, I wouldn't really recommend using anything else than 9,000 stamina, because the bleeding is so good and it's so much stronger with 9,000 stamina that if you don't have this, then your damage output won't be really, that significant. But anyways, really quickly for the weapons, I am using the House. If you don't have this, using something like a MP5N or even a MP7 will be really good, since the MP7 rate of fire is really fast and landing your bullets will be, a lot quicker, so you can do that damage and the bleed damage a bit faster. But for my build, I'm using the House. I do have Deadly and Unforgiving on it, which in my mind is not really the best combination. I wanted to get something like maybe Deadly Vicious or Deadly even Responsive. But for now, it is what it is. I am happy with what I have. And then lastly, for my MDR, I'm using Unforgiving and Vicious on it. Now, this weapon will only get pulled out and only used if someone's running away from me and they're bleeding. Pretty much the last talent, the Distracted talent, just gives you 18% additional damage, which can actually make a really big difference if, someone is bleeding and they're one shot, whatever. Something like the MDR will just melt them right away and give you the kill. Also, I am using the X45 pistol, and usually in my build videos I don't show pistols since they're kind of useless. But with this one, I actually rely on this one kind of a lot in PvP especially. The main reason is because it does have predatory, and whenever someone's down or you're just running away, you're getting shot, killing something like an NPC with the pistol really quickly is really good, because you get 35% of your health back over 20 seconds. Now don't get me wrong, something like the sawed-off shotgun might be a little bit better because you get 3 talents instead of 2. But my luck sucks and I can't actually get one, so I'm sticking with the pistol. As soon as I get a shotgun with predatory and maybe something like responsive, I'll definitely switch. But for now, those are the weapons I am rocking. And really quickly, for the weapon mods, I know everyone's always curious about this. I'm pretty much spec'd into critical hit damage and critical hit chance on everything with my House and my MDR, as you guys can see. Alright, so moving on to the main part of the video, and that is the gear and what I'm using. So really quickly, for the gear mods, I have everything with firearms and health except one thing, and that is a stamina and health mod. Without that stamina health mod, I wouldn't be at 9,000 stamina, which, you want to be with this build. But the rest of them are firearms and health mods, just so I can do a little bit more damage and be a bit more tanky. Anyways, for the chest piece, I am using health with exotic damage resilience, and I also have ammo capacity. The exotic damage resilience is kind of questionable, and it kind of really depends on you. If you want to use skill haste, you can go ahead and do that, or something like health on kill could be good as well. I'm just using exotic damage resilience because I do not have pretty much any skill haste on this build, and you know, speccing that 9% in my mind could be a little bit useless. Up next for the mask, I'm using 4% critical hit chance with burn resistance. For the knee pads, I do have health, shock resistance, blind/death resistance, and I'm also using disrupt resistance. And then lastly, I do have a first aid self heal on these knee pads. Next up for the backpack, I do have a pretty high stamina roll with health and burn resistance. And then once again, I'm using 2 first aid self heals. Next up for the gloves, I do have stamina, SMG damage, critical hit damage, and critical hit chance. In my opinion, this is the best combination right now to roll on your gloves if you are playing PvP. If you're playing PvE, something like enemy armor damage could be a bit better. But if you're not, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and the weapon damage is the way to go. Lastly, for the holster, I am stacked into critical hit chance and I'm using a first aid self heal once again. The final few items I want to show you guys are my character stats and my weapon damage, critical hit chance, stuff like that. So for the weapon damage, I'm sitting at 19.3k, a 45.50% critical hit chance, 115% critical hit damage, 61% headshot damage. Next up, I am sitting at 443,000 health, 906. So yeah, I am pretty tanky. Obviously, I'm specced into stamina on everything, so my health will be very, very high. Armor mitigation, I'm sitting at 30.85%. And then lastly, I have 0 skill haste, which isn't really that important. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. As I said, this is more of a damage build. If you want more survivability, if you want to be even more tanky, something like a 6-piece nomad is the way to go. But if you want to do a lot of damage, if you want to do just, you know, a lot of damage with a group and you have someone healing you and stuff like that, you will do really, really well in the Dark Zone or PvP. And even if you're by yourself, you want to use this build, anyone you come across, you will melt and stuff like that. But anyways, that is it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. I respond to my comments. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Trust you, okay,